Howdy folks, Brian Cusco here at Triple B, and today we're going to sit down with Jake from Sybil Serpents. We're going to find out the story behind the name Sybil Serpents, and we're going to check out some of the really cool animals that Jake has produced already in his short time that he's been breeding ball pythons. Pretty incredible animals, so I hope you guys enjoy it. You're watching Triple B TV.
Right. That's the only thing. The sponsor for that,
Jake,
what's up, man?
Sybil Serpents.
Yes, sir.
Is that your last name?
No, actually, that is. Well, to make a long story short, that was me and my wife had a baby that passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the day it was supposed to be delivered, and my wife wanted to name him Sybil. She had this. That's another long story, but she likes unique names. So after that passed, it was kind of like just something I thought was cool to like dedicate that to, like make that be like, part of the vision, like because I'm not gonna let that fail.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. So.
That is a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
okay.
Just kind of carry like his name and honor him in some form or fashion. Yeah. So it was that was like 2017.
Okay.
So that was kind of like a real dark time for us.
Yeah, no doubt. It'd be
And
a dark
led to
time for anybody.
And then led to other dark stuff because we were in a dark place, and it was just certain things that may happen that normally would just be like a little bump in the road turn into huge catastrophes because it's on top of another catastrophe. So we both went through our own little like kind of dark periods and stuff, and we're still struggling with it and stuff. But we ended up having a son afterwards, though, and he's 2.5, almost 3. So that's I guess a silver lining of the story. But yeah, that's where the name comes from.
It's deep.
Pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I like talking about it because I've had actually been able to comfort other people who have gone through similar things after the fact, and a lot of times they tell me like coming from you it means different, and I think a lot of times I know I went through it. You get bombarded with people just reaching out to you, and it's like part of you understands that that's like their way of showing love to you or whatever. But as a person who's going through it, sometimes it's like the last thing you want. So it's a fine line. And I think having that understanding with a couple of my friends and people, there's a guy in the reptile industry that had a daughter pass. And I talked to him for months and months, just working with him through that. And, making sure I didn't bug him, though. I kind of kept my distance, So, yeah, it's like I said, there's a silver lining in all of it, so.
Yeah, you did get a son. We had Hillary lost a kid a while back.
Oh, really?
Well, not nearly as far along as
right.
Which that makes it different, I think.
I think I don't know, man. I ponder that too because like, what's the difference between if the child is 2 and passes? You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be like a longer period of time that you could say, well, it would have been worse if it was this. But I think if you're planning on having a kid and that's in your heart, and it's especially for the mother who's got it in her, I think it's a very traumatic.
Yeah.
Thing,
So
no matter how you go.
My end, I didn't get to meet the kid yet. So
right. Well, yeah, and then I think that's like that's what I said. But you can always move the goalpost on that.
Sure.
I think it's like the worst thing that happened to you is the worst thing that happened to you. So you can only experience what you know. And so like I always try to be careful of that too with some people because I think I've had that happen where someone had like a miscarriage 20 weeks in or something and they almost feel guilty for feeling upset because of my circumstance, and I'm just like, no, man, that's horrible, dude. That sucks. You were planning on having a baby, It's like there's no, feel that, and it's okay to feel that, and it's okay to be upset,
We're not having a competition of who can feel the worst about
right?
what.
Like who has the worst tragedy in their life? It'd just be a never-ending game, Really, but yeah.
So how did the snakes end up? Like how long have you been into snakes, and when did this tie into?
Well, as a child, I was like a little herper. I was out there collecting and keeping and stuff in my area. I grew up in Long Beach, so I'd find a lot of lizards and salamanders, toads, frogs. And I'd keep them all, garter snakes, stuff like that. But
you go the nature center, or
what's that?
Did you go to the nature center?
The one in Long Beach? Yeah. Actually, what's funny is my dad. I come from a family that breeds game birds and exotic pheasants. So my dad actually used to breed ringneck pheasants for them, and then would release them there for them. Like, hatch them out and keep them in like solitary, and like so they don't get used to people. And then, when they get a certain age, he just let them loose over there.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. It's like I was like right down the street from where I grew up.
Okay. Yeah, my wife grew up in Long Beach.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was right Las Coyotes Diagonal, which is just up and around the corner from the nature
she's
center.
right off Las Coyotes. She's at right off Bellflower.
Oh, yeah.
And
so
Spring.
It's a little bit further down, yep.
Yeah, or sorry, Woodruff and Spring. Right
Oh, that's even closer than to where I was at. Yeah, I know where that's at. That's cool.
So your dad bred pheasants.
Okay, so yeah, I've always been around animals, always had reptiles, but then I got married the first time, and she was absolutely hated reptiles. She wasn't a big animal person to begin with, but I mean, really didn't like reptiles. And I kind of gave that up, and I started working with saltwater tanks and coral tanks and cichlids and stuff. I was trying to breed that stuff and getting that stuff, but it was never anything serious. It was just a hobby, and a very expensive hobby. After I got divorced from her, I kind of got rid of everything. And I don't know, I think going back to earlier, I mean, like that whole tragedy and stuff, I mean, kind of like it was a reset for me. Like, what am I doing in my life? I'm just working my ass off. I'm beating myself up. I'm not going to have much to show for it. I didn't want to be that guy. And it just kind of reset me to realize, like, what are the things I like? I kind of forgot where I came from and what like drove me and what my passion was. And it was reptiles. And it was actually funny. I was working out of town. And this was after the baby had passed. And I had to, I was working out of town at power plants. So I was gone for months at a time across country. And my wife called me up and she said, hey, I want to get the boys some reptiles. I'm going to take them down to Triple L over here in Menifee, and I'm going to let them pick out something. I think the oldest picked out a corn snake, and the youngest picked out a tortoise. And, like, they've gone through, and they've had their own geckos. They've, like, keep getting stuff. And that kind of, I think that's really kind of what lit the fire, was, like, that whole conversation I was having myself, and then that moment of them getting that when I got back, and they're showing me all this stuff, and I was, like, holding this corn snake and holding these things and going, man, because it just brought it back to me, like, this is what I want to do. And it was probably like another year of just kind of brainstorming and looking into the industry itself and the hobby and like what was what. And, because I never was into that aspect. I didn't know about morphs or any of that stuff, man. I was just like, what was local to me and I could catch. And then those were the animals I had pretty much for the most part. So yeah, it changed. I changed my ideas. But I eventually got 2 ball pythons, and I game planned that whole thing. I had invested some money in some cryptocurrencies, and around that time it hit a big boom, and I just pulled out and had a bunch of money, and I was like, I'm just going to jump in. The rest is history. Got fortunate enough to reach out to Sebastian from Showcase, and he connected me with Justin Kabelka, and I ended up buying a bunch of stuff between them two, and really just started getting going from there. And then that was about 2.5 years ago, and here we are.
And you got that power group over there that you're vending with, and Jerome and Antoine and Andrew.
Dude, yeah, that's cool. Like I trip on that too, because I'm pretty new. I'm relatively new. I feel, like 2 years. I've been in 2.5 years, maybe 3 years that I've actually been like involved, but not even like, I've known Antoine for like a year and a half now, but yeah, I feel so fortunate that those guys like me and want me around. And same with like MJ and stuff, man. Like
you seem like a pretty likable guy.
I try. I built a relationship with MJ, and it's the same thing. He's a local guy that I'd seen on, YouTube when I was digging through. Same with you and a couple other people I don't want to name, and then but yeah, it's it's cool. It's cool to like okay, so like this is a story I wanted to tell you, but Calvin knows the story. But I met you at the first Trap Fest.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was like starstruck. Like, what do you call that when you get all like, oh my God, it's fucking Brian Cusco?
I think that's the right phrase.
Like, and I'm just telling Calvin, like, oh shit, that's Brian Cusco, dude. Like, oh wow, and it was just like I was so afraid to like go talk to you, dude. I felt like, man, I hadn't felt that in years, dude. That was the funniest thing, and I don't even know why. I think it's because of YouTube, because I literally had watched so much of your YouTube. And dug deeper and gone back in the past and stuff, and it was just like I almost felt like I knew you. And then when I saw you, met you there, I was like, wow, dude, this is crazy, bro. This is crazy. Calvin was just laughing at me the whole time. I told him, you better not tell him this story, dude. And here I am telling him the story.
Hey, props to you, bro. Hey, man, and then you realize, I'm just some dude.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I know that, but it's just like, that was what was funny about it. It's like, I've met famous people and stuff. There was, other people there that were pretty well known and stuff, but like, no, that's Brian Cusco right there, man. He's got a guitar, dude.
Oh yeah, I did have a guitar.
Yeah, but I don't think he ended up doing it. I brought one too. I play too a little bit, but
we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, MJ was all about his sound system that night. So
he was doing the little DJ thing.
I don't try to jump in and change the flow, Well, except for the last podcast, apparently some people were upset that I was really trying to derail the podcast, apparently.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
What, because of the Jesus talk?
I don't even know if it was just that. It was.
Oh, well, it's always Jesus. Either something you love or something you hate for some reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how people are.
It's all gravy.
Yeah, it is.
Well, let's take a look at some of what you got going on here. So you got this girl?
This is a girl. This is I made a trade with Tom Harbin. This is a Desert Ghost Krypton 50% het G-stripe girl that I just brought her to show her off.
Tom Harbin, that's a good dude right there.
Yeah, he is a cool man. I mean, he really I still talk to him every once in a while. He definitely was into what I had got going on, so he wanted to keep in touch.
Tom Harbin actually purchased the second snake I ever produced.
Really?
That was a cool moment for me.
When was that? How long ago was that?
That was 2015.
Oh, wow. Man, that's almost 10 years now, man.
That's crazy.
The second snake, that's crazy. What was the first snake you produced?
It was one snake survived out of a whole clutch.
Oh, really?
Like the incubator door had gotten left open for a bit. Yeah, I had it right next to the bed at the point. Like I think one of the kids kicked it open accidentally, and it was just open.
Oh.
But I had my first clutch in there. But
so you just made one egg, made it?
One egg made it. Yeah.
What was it?
And she lesser Posset Sunset, named Mr. Pink.
That's cool though.
Still got him.
Did it prove out?
I haven't. Actually just did the first. I haven't put him to a visual, so
okay.
I haven't tried to prove him out yet. He's made some pos heads at this point, so we'll see if some of those pos heads from him prove out.
And then over here, these are mostly stuff I produced. I didn't produce this one, but so this is from a clutch earlier this year. It was my fourth clutch ever.
Fourth clutch ever, and you're producing Enchi Desert Ghost clowns. That is insane, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, Enchi Leopard Desert Ghost
clown.
Well,
I have been told by many folks that it's got leopard in it, and I'm not one to be able to stand on my ability to do that kind of thing with this. It's pretty new to me still. So
I mean, those spots on the side are kind of what would make me think that it's possible, because otherwise Enchi would just be completely clean usually. But
even you would see a little bit of almost like the teardropping instead of just dots down here. It would actually be kind of the dorsal bleeding down, similar to that.
And she does reduce the pattern on clown a lot.
And the head stamp's kind of funky, like the way it goes into the head and stuff. I don't know. Desert Ghost really jacks up the head stamp too. So
Desert Ghost is a pretty fun thing to have in clown on your fourth clutch.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got.
What was the pairing?
And it was clown het Desert Ghost to a spot nose leopard Enchi double het clown Desert Ghost female. And I only ended up with 4 eggs, and one went bad instantly. It seeped out, and it was flat.
So you had 3 eggs.
But 3 eggs, man. And I ended up hitting, the other 2 snakes were Enchi spot nose clown 66% het DG male, and then I produced a female spot nose leopard 100% het clown 66% het DG female.
What was Antoine talking about? This girl was on Morph Market for a hot minute, and then she fell off? Or?
I put her up there to just see what would happen. I got a few offers.
Okay.
But
you just put it up with without a price or something? Or?
Oh, I put a price on there, and I just wanted to see if anyone would. But I got Sebastian called me up and said, "Hey, it's none of my business what you do with your snakes and everything, but you are not fucking selling that snake." So I'm like, okay, I kind of owe it to him in a sense too, because he has definitely put me on where I'm at. I would not be having this on my 4th clutch if it was not for Sebastian's guidance. I didn't buy a thing from him for 4 months, but he was conversing with me, talking with me, texting, calling. It was
How many clutches have you produced at this point?
So I had 2 last year. And then I had 2 at the very beginning of the year. So those 4 clutches actually kind of ran together, but they were right between like November, and then the other 2 were like after January into like March.
So Are you selling snakes on Morph Market?
I have. I've sold some. I've been listing some. I've sold most of my snakes on Morph Market actually.
And that's just through Morph Market. Like, did they reach you somewhere else and then find you Morph Market, or Morph Market was just like that was the jumping point? I think
Morph Market to begin with. Yeah, I've had a couple people hit me up on Instagram. I only do Instagram. I don't mess with Facebook anymore. I've had a couple people hit me up, and then I'll post on like some of the Discord groups I'm in. I'll even throw it into like Antoine's Patreon group, like first, like hey, and for like a discount because they're part of the group or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Morph Market's changing the game.
Yeah, Morph Market. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, you can literally do this anywhere in the world because of Morph Market. You know what I mean? Like before Morph Market, I mean, even before the internet, really, if you want to get down to it, like, how did you do this? You know, like how you couldn't do it.
You send, you had to mail pictures out.
Yeah, and then even still, like you couldn't do it everywhere. It's, you know, you'd have to be like in a bigger area, like a bigger city, and you know, where you could at least survive off of a local market.
Right. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's bright. She's cool. And then we got, this is basically a Pompeii 66% het clown. So it's all the genes of a Pompeii, and it's possible fire too.
Okay.
This is from a couple snakes I got from Justin. It was a het to het.
Dude, that is a good looking. Look at how much. This is, when I think about a snake, if this is a het clown, I mean, this is about as good as a het clown can look in my opinion. Look at that, dude.
Yeah.
Look at. Can you lift up the belly again? Look at all the. Oh man, look at that.
The yellow belly just popcorning it out with that red stripe. And
jeez.
Yeah, it's. That was.
So it's a black pastel, yellow belly, red stripe, spot nose,
possible fire.
Possible fire.
66% clown girl, and the pairing was inchy black pastel, fire red stripe het clown to a ivory spot nose. Inchy, possible fire, red stripe, het clown.
Man, you gotta love Ivory for guaranteeing that
right.
yellow belly.
That's the only thing. Yeah. Because I've had other clutches with yellow belly, and I'm like, man, like I have a black pastel yellow belly. I've got a couple of the hatchlings at my table, and I cannot, for the life of me, tell what's going on that thing.
The amount of contrast that's happening in the stuff coming up from the belly is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, man, I was like. I was like so overwhelmed with the fact that it was like at least a het, you know, or a Pompeii, the codoms, and then I started getting like weary, like I'm just wanting it to be. And I had Justin look at it several times, and he, according to him and some of the things he's done, he's made, you know, these with red stripe and without red stripe, because that's the only gene I wasn't sure of was red stripe, because it's obviously yellow belly, obviously spot nose, obviously black pastel, and he showed me one that he had hatched without the red stripe, and it was definitely a lot different.
Yeah, red stripe is fairly subtle in a lot of combos. Definitely subtle.
I'm definitely learning how to. I have a lot of red stripes, so it's gonna be. It's funny though, because in a normal, like you can totally see red stripe. Like in a normal, it's like wow, it's like so obvious.
Yeah, but once you start throwing in combos, it's a subtle one.
Yeah, it's very subtle.
But it adds so much with the right combo.
I know, it's crazy. That gene is like. It's crazy how Justin does that too. He just takes this like dead gene that no one works with anymore, and find the right combo, and then all of a sudden it's like the ultimate ingredient that everyone wants. It's like cypress and special are like that right now.
Yeah,
you know,
even yellow belly. Yellow belly is such a key in so many of these amazing combos.
Oh yeah, and it's super subtle too. That's another super subtle one.
Very.
Like even like normal. Yeah,
tell yellow belly when it gets an adult.
Yeah, and then it's like, so I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, you try to identify an adult yellow belly, like good luck.
Really? It just fades away or what?
It's just something. Yeah, the belly stuff isn't when they're babies. It's pretty obvious what one's yellow belly, but when it becomes an adult, and it's just a yellow belly.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard to tell.
All right, let's see here. I'm not totally sure on this, but I know it's yellow belly.
Yeah.
I know it's spot nose. Definitely inchy.
Yep.
I think fire. It's pretty yellow.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I mean, possible red stripe, I don't know. But yeah, she's funky.
Definitely funky. Yeah,
Same.
I can see where you're seeing the the fire. I mean, look at the head stamp is
Yeah, she's so bright.
is one interesting because when you start throwing the spot nose in, it kind of does the opposite of what fire would do in a way. You know, where fire would make it a lot lighter even in the dark, and then the spot nose creates more contrast and makes it a little darker. So
And it changes the head stamp so much that, like, a lot of times fire, you know, the head stamp is how you really identify it. But
yeah, you throw Enchi and spot nose in, it starts to do
Enchi
crazy
too.
stuff.
Yeah. And then I look at the side of that neck, and I'm like, man, it's something else. Like, it just seems like, is that red stripe that's making it so, like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, there's some weird coloration going on right here.
Yeah, no, it's pretty wicked.
Maybe it's like got black pastel in it too, or something. You know, I don't know, something different going on there though. That's a lot of blushing.
That's a boy or girl?
This is another girl.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool,
she's
man.
cool. Yeah, I like her a lot. They're all holdbacks, but I decided to get rid of these because I have so many clutches coming, and I'm realizing how much I'm gonna have to hold back of that for the projects, a lot of double recessive stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I need to make room. So
There's so much to ball pythons, man. In the it's just cool.
Learning every day, man. It's crazy. I was just talking to somebody about how when you first start and you're like, you know, simple things like feeding will freak you out. Like, it didn't eat, you know, like
For a year.
After a while, yeah, it's like, man, I can remember like the sire of this clutch. He didn't eat for like 8 months, and then ate a rat, and then didn't eat for 5 months after that.
Wow.
And then ate 2 more rats, and then started breeding.
Crazy.
never really lost any weight either.
Yeah, that sounds like a story that I've heard.
It's crazy, man.
Well, shoot, Jake. Hey, man, I appreciate you taking a moment to come over and sit down with us.
Man.
And
Way to do this. It's cool, man.
Really cool to hear your story. I'm glad you're venting and doing well, and
Oh yeah.
it's cool. I'm glad you got a good group of folks over there that you're. Yeah,
dude.
Awesome, man.
I got some good friends, man, for sure.
It's awesome. Thank you guys for checking it out. As we do with all of our guests here on Triple B TV, we will be having a Zoom call with Jake tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you'd like to join us for that, there's a link down in the description how you can join us for all of ours that we do. We do them every week, whether we have a guest or not. And you can just hang out with us, have a good time. It's always great. There's always good conversations happening, so we'd love to see you there tonight. If not, then we'll see you next week on the next episode of Triple B TV. Until then, y'all take care. Yeah, sorry, I spaced the mic. You don't have to turn it on. It'll be good. I spaced the mic clips, but so I'm gonna film the snakes for you.
Okay.
Because you know.
Oh. What do you want to do?
What? What thing? Not yet. Can you wait till after we do this? Please? It's just gonna be a moment. There's like 10, 15 minutes. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Gosh, man. Can you do?
Put it up higher.
Yeah, there you go.
Not under the beard.
Yeah. I just want to make sure they hear that. That's an important story.
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
This girl is all about checking stuff out.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say to the folks before we get out of here?
Nah, if you're in Vegas or nearby, man, come out and check out the show, dude.
All right. Well, this will go up like. This show will be over by the time that happens.
In 2023.
There you go.